Hey guys, I'm Paintivity, and I am back with, let's see, part 3? 4? Of Murder Most Misfortunate, and our time is still running down. Technically, we have 44 minutes to figure out, excuse me, oh my goodness, that was so rude. It's raining and groggy here. Um, anyway, what I was saying, we still have 44 minutes to figure out who done it. So, we're gonna go explore some more and see if we can find everybody to talk to. So far it was Horatio and Charisse, I
In
believe.
the queen bedroom,
Ah,
I
there
found
she
my
is.
old social acquaintance, the Countessa. To say that I trusted her was going much too far. But I had certainly known her longer than anyone else there that evening.
So, doesn't mean she couldn't still kill you.
Besides that, I knew her to have an ear for gossip and an eye for detail. If there was anyone who could tell me a little more about the cast of our little drama, it was her.
Well, then stop
There you
drawing
are,
everything out.
Misfortune, darling. I must say this whole affair is just dreadful, isn't it?
Tragic. Truly tragic.
Prince Titanico was an eccentric man, but he knew how to put on a show. Sadly, this is rather more than I expected, I'm afraid.
It's where Fortune's just like, yeah, whatever, don't care. On to the next one.
Are we really sure he didn't plan the whole thing after all? You know, have the last laugh, go out with a bang, that sort of thing.
Oh, no, my dear, I don't think so. The prince, by all accounts, was far too fond of himself for that.
Fond of himself, huh?
Pity. It would have made for such a delicious story. Not to mention no longer having to worry about a possible killer being on the loose.
Quite so.
Quite so. I'm gonna examine the room first. I'd rather find something first. Yeah, so funny.
I'd helpfully noted the garish red color of the bed the first time we visited the room.
Yeah.
But this time, something looked off.
There's
Near
a
the top
pillow
of
on the bed.
the color looked darker than before. I reached beneath the pillows, and sure enough,
Nice murder weapon.
it was a knife with a distinctively wavy blade. A blade
That doesn't
was
look
covered
wavy.
with blood. I'd wager a good portion of my last husband's life insurance that the blood belonged to Prince Titanico himself.
Probably.
I say, darling, what have you got there?
None of your business. Nothing.
Well, it seems to be a knife. I found it here under the pillow.
A knife? Goodness, do you think it could be the murder weapon?
Whoever did the voice acting for this lady is just on point.
I'm not sure, but it very well could be. Let's just leave it here, shall we? I'm sure the police will want to know about it later, but for now, it will be our little secret.
I wouldn't be sharing secrets.
Very well, dear. I do so love a good secret.
Nope. Not worth it, man.
On a small table near the center of the room sat a little book, the kind one could write in. Could it be a
Right.
diary? And by reading it, might I steal a forbidden glimpse
Ugh.
into the inner life of
talks
some
too
member
much.
of the once mighty elite family?
She talks too much.
But to my great disappointment, I found the pages empty. Ah, well, I suppose that hoping to discover the defiant last words of the infamous Lamika Lee written in blood really would have been a bit much to ask for.
This is true. I'm all over here jamming out some music. I'm like, whatevs. Alright, she liked the chairs before, which they are pretty awesome.
I couldn't make out the lady in the ruined portrait, but I assumed it must be some grand old dame of the Lee household.
I don't care.
Why had she been left behind, I wondered? Had the rest of the family simply not liked her?
Probably not.
Mind you, if I ever had to sell one of my estates, I'd rather fancy leaving behind as many self-portraits as I could spare. You know, just so that the new owners would feel like I was keeping an eye on them.
Alright, we're off track here. Get back to looking at stuff. Jeez. She's so self-centered. Do, 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 do. It's a pretty new looking door for such an old place. Cobwebbers. No, that's not the cabinet with the stuff in it. Just kidding. I wanted to look at that too.
A set of old
Ooh.
vases sat on the dresser. Could there possibly still be anything in them? I suppose I
care.
could have stuck my hand in to feel around, but there could easily be a mouse or a spider lurking in there. No, that would be a much more suitable job for Miss Charisse and those small, dainty hands of hers, I think.
How? That's so mean. I can't say I'd want to do it either. His picture is messed up too. Let's see. And we're back to the beginning, I think. Alright. Guess we're talking to her.
You know, it was really quite shocking. One minute the prince was playing host and telling ghost stories, and next thing you know, we all come running and he's dead on the floor.
Oh, indeed. That was a surprise of a most unpleasant nature.
She's so... I can't even...
Where were you when you heard the news? It was that one-eyed shambler in the ill-fitting coat who found me in the other bedroom. Did he find you first?
No. In fact, I was in here, and it was that young man with a decidedly orangish hue who brought me the news.
So why are you in the same room as the knife?
Our oh-so-helpful Horatio. He must have been done fixing the lights then.
Yes, they'd only just come on. I must say, he was in quite a state, with those robes of his flapping about everywhere. I expect I would have laughed if he didn't look so distressed.
Well, they did say that he was asked to go find them as well.
Alas, such a wasted opportunity.
Mind you, he didn't tell me exactly what the matter was at first. I'm not sure he knew himself. He only said that something had happened, and we had to gather everyone together right away.
Okay.
And our two little darlings. You found them on the way back then?
No.
Precisely.
Okay, maybe.
Just as we were coming back down to the main floor.
Well, it's good we've got that all straightened up. With so much running about the house, it's enough to make one's head spin trying to sort it all out.
Yeah, I'm not gonna promise I'm gonna be any good at sorting anything.
Oh my word, yes! I used to get quite bad headaches myself, especially back when I was with my second husband. Mind you, those only ever seemed to come on when he was telling golfing stories.
Okay.
My
That's
dear, I know
rude.
exactly what you mean.
Ooh, I can hear the thunder through my headphones. Ah! I'm not one of those people who likes to, like, be in the middle of something during the middle of a storm. Let's see.
Darling, I have a little confession to make. Although I'd met our good host, ex-host, a number of times, I'm afraid I never really knew him, if you understand what I mean.
Okay, and?
I hardly expect you're the only one in that situation, my dear. The prince had this maddening habit of talking all the time and yet somehow still saying very little.
Oh my god, I know people like that. They could talk and talk and talk, and then you're just like, wait, what was the point in that? Like, did you say anything important?
So was he really a prince then? Do you know?
These days, title really does not mean what it once did. After all, how many do you have now?
Oh, let me see. At least 3. All by marriage, of course. Sometimes it can be hard to keep track.
She brings up a good point. The title is just, like, these things don't mean the same thing anymore.
Just so. No doubt our late prince could make some claim or another, but these days, who can't? Just about anyone can claim a tenuous connection to some great old family that was thought lost in the Revolution, and it's so hard to prove them wrong. And as long as there isn't money...
So he called himself a prince, and that's about all
Oops.
anyone knew. He wasn't married or anything, was he?
Good heavens, I hope not. You did see him doting all over our sweet little Charisse, didn't you?
Wow.
Come now, Comtessa. You and I both know that's proof of nothing.
True.
So cruel,
Oh, no.
but so true. Still, if he was ever married, I never heard of it.
And you do have such a knack for hearing interesting things, darling. If there was anything to hear, I dare say you would have heard it.
I agree with that. Totally agree with that. Of course, I get this vibe, like, you've got Leah, who's in the shorts and the tank top, who's more modern. You've got Horatio, who's more this, like, magical-looking guy who claims to know magic. You've got these ladies who are, like, old-school riches, I guess. Like, very old school. Yeah, I don't know. I think if I was any of these characters, I would probably be a misfortune. Like, if you catch me on one of my bad days, it's very possible I could turn into her.
Oh, modesty forbids.
Really?
In any case,
That's
it
it?
would seem our late prince was quite the enigma then. At least I can feel glad that I wasn't the only one in the dark.
Everyone was in the dark, dear. Alright, so let's ask about Charisse.
I don't know about you, but I can't shake the impression that Miss Charisse was, for lack of a better term, the guest of honor this evening. What do you know about her?
She sucks. She's got a lot of money. She talks with such an annoying voice. Where do you want me to
Oh,
start?
the poor girl. She's an only child, and her parents passed away just recently.
So?
Yes,
I mean, it's not
feel
great.
for her. An enormous inheritance, and all of a sudden no one around to tell her how to spend it.
Right?
The family, they were industrialists, were they not?
That's right.
Well,
though by
everybody
the
knows
end,
that.
They were into pretty much everything. Manufacturing, banking, real estate, and more. They were a bit close-lipped about their net worth, but certainly one of the richest private families in the empire.
And if I recall correctly, they were a new money family, too. Money-grubbing upstarts. I think I heard them called at court from time to time.
I think I heard them called at court. Huh. Interesting. It's an interesting way to say that.
Really? I don't doubt it, of course. My word, that place can be just so beastly sometimes.
Okay.
Actually, I thought that was rather tame. You should hear the things they call me.
I believe it.
Oh yes, they can say such horrid things about widows like us. Sometime you and I will have to swap stories of the more creative ones. When these circumstances are more pleasant, of course.
Of course.
Of course.
See? I'm telling you. It's right there. Like, no one turns down that opportunity. Good for you if you do, though. You know the prince.
So how did you know Prince Titanico then? I met him at an art auction myself. How about you?
Oh, I hardly knew him at all, really. He was an acquaintance of my late husband's. They played cards together sometimes at his club, or so I understand.
I see.
Interesting.
Is this the first time you've seen him then, since your husband passed away?
Well, he came to the funeral, but other than that, yes. Yes, it is.
I don't feel like we have anything in common.
Don't you think it's a little odd that he would invite you out to a rather small event like this, when your husband was the one he actually knew?
That's a good point. I was thinking that too, but I didn't think it was relevant.
He thought I would appreciate the historical nature of the estate, and he's not wrong on that count. Perhaps he may have also thought I'd be a little lonely, being recently widowed and all.
Totally possible.
That part's nonsense, of course. A woman in my position gets rather used to it. But it's sweet of the dear boy to try.
Don't lie, you know you liked it.
Yes, indeed. One does get used to it. Husbands come and go. It's the way of the world, really.
In your situation, maybe.
Too true.
Too true. Oh my goodness. Okay, we're just gonna leave. We're gonna go somewhere else now. Crap. Manor grounds. I can go outside. I'm going outside. Hell yeah. I mean, it's raining, but hell yeah. Not like there's much here, I guess.
When I'd first arrived at the manor house, I thought it might rain that evening. And in light of recent events, I half expected a flash of lightning to provide an atmospheric backdrop to the stage of our little drama, complete with the clap of thunder as the applause.
This is awesome considering it's like raining right now and there's like water all over my windows and stuff. It's awesome.
But the night air hung cold and still, and the only sound was the rustling of weeds and brush that clawed against the foundations of the building.
So what are you trying to say?
Wait, rustling? But there isn't any wind. Who's that out there?
It's just me, Miss Fortune.
Ma'am.
I say, what in the world are you doing skulking about in the brush like that? Don't tell me they get you to do the groundskeeping around here, too.
Sometimes I do a bit of gardening, yes.
This
You
guy.
know, when things get out of hand.
Okay.
Gardening, at a time like this?
Good point. See, she's on it.
Well, no, ma'am. Right now, I'm keeping an eye out for strangers, just to keep everyone safe.
What a relief. I do feel ever so much safer when a hulking man with an eye patch is lurking in the shadows right outside the house.
Shit. It's a typo and a voiceover error. I like it. It's not her house, it's the house. I'm gonna examine first.
There were stories from the time of the Revolutionary War that when soldiers first stormed the grounds of the Lee Manor,
Why does everything have a story?
ferocious spectral beasts appeared out of nowhere to tear apart the terrified trespassers.
Okay. Great.
Of course, you can't believe everything you hear. But I found myself keeping a watchful eye on the wolf statues in the
That's not a
courtyard,
wolf.
just to be sure.
Like, I promise you that is not the shape of a wolf.
There were stories
Okay,
from
yeah,
the
same
course,
thing. Good to know, good to know. Gotta check everything. Ooh, cool. This is interesting because you didn't get to see this at the beginning. Fresh.
Klopp's claimed he had already checked the ground around the house for footprints, but I thought it couldn't hurt to double check.
Heck yeah.
Apparently I thought wrong, though, for as I stepped off the path into the brush, the weeds and thorns tore at my skirts and scratched my ankles. You know, I think I'll just take the one-eyed brute's word for it after all.
Should never do that. Never
A
ever.
rundown shed sat in the corner of the yard. Gingerly, I tried the door, but the wood had swollen, and it seemed stuck in its frame.
Okay.
It was just as well, I suppose. Ugh. Why would I want to go inside a moldy old shed anyway?
Who else thinks of it? Seriously, like, who else would think of it? They know it's off limits. What are you pointing at? Okay, yeah, the brush. We already did that part. It's pretty cool looking. Needs a little cleaned up. That's really cool. What is that? Is that a light on? What is that? This is weird. I figured that would be a thing. Like, why is that not a thing? Okay. What are you doing? Start with that.
My dear Klops, please tell me you didn't really think there might still be a stranger lurking around here in the underbrush?
Well, ma'am, no one was watching the door when the prince was in the hall. Whoever did it could have run right out the front door.
Why, indeed they could have. Not much gets by you, it seems. And yet, here you are, searching through the weeds at the base of the house. With the coast clear, would our furtive stranger not just have kept going?
True. She's pointing out a lot of good things.
I'm sure he probably did. I'm just looking for footprints.
Oh, footprints now. Ah, yes, of course. And have you found any?
No.
No, it's raining and muddy.
More's the pity. It would have been so much nicer to believe the killer was no longer in the house. especially with our resident bodyguard busy traipsing through the muck outside.
Sorry,
It's
ma'am,
true.
but I'm just a valet.
Oops. I keep opening the dialogue and I'm like, wait, I don't need that.
Of course you are.
So we'll go through this one with Klops, and then I'll probably stop there, and then the next one, about 20 minutes when the timer runs down. Let's ask about the prince first.
Can you tell me anything about our late host? Perhaps about this grand announcement of his?
I just kind of assume that they're under some type of, like, awning in the middle
About
of the
the
yard.
boss? I mean, the prince? Sorry, ma'am, but he wasn't the sort to confide in a mere valet like myself.
Okay.
Oh, come now. I know how it is with servants. You're bound to have seen or heard a thing or two about the house, whether your master knows it or not.
True.
Look, I take my duties seriously. I make it a point not to see things that I'm not supposed to see.
Well, you're crappy.
Yes, I suppose not seeing things would be rather a specialty of yours. Tell me, have you worked for the prince for a long time?
Yes, ma'am. Many
In the-
years now.
And you're still just a valet?
Whoops.
Tisk
Sorry.
tisk.
I
Promotions
forwarded.
must be hard to come by in that household.
Maybe. Okay, and finding the body.
So, you were in quite the tizzy when you came running to find me earlier. Was it you who found the body?
Yes, ma'am. I found it in the hall, just like you saw.
And what were you doing before that?
Well, I let the boss, I mean, the prince, into the hall to take his phone call.
Everybody's
then I went
rhyming.
to the pantry to get more candles for the dining room. I didn't know how long Horatio was going to be with the lights.
Okay.
So, the prince was alone then when you left him in the hall?
Yes, ma'am. Without a doubt.
Who called him?
Why then, it appears you may have been the last one to see the poor prince alive.
Wouldn't that actually have been the killer, ma'am?
I suppose so. But then, you did just say you were quite certain he was alone.
What do you mean by that? I'm just doing my job here.
Oh,
That's
yes,
fair.
of course. I'm sure you're quite excellent at, well, whatever it is that valets do.
Poor Klops. There we go, about the phone call.
That's right. In all this commotion, I'd almost forgotten the whole reason the prince left us was to take a phone call. Do you know who was calling?
No, ma'am, I don't.
Well, that's a little odd. They didn't give a name.
I asked, but they said the matter was confidential.
So you spoke to them then. Can you describe anything at all about the caller?
No, it was confidential.
Yes, I took the call, and they asked for the prince right away. Which is a bit funny, now that you mention it. I didn't think very many people would have this number. Anyway, pretty sure the caller was a woman. She was all crisp and businesslike, too. I'm afraid I can't tell you more than that.
I suppose it would be too much to hope that this rotting old place
Hi,
would have
puppers.
call display.
No,
Right?
ma'am. It's a wonder most of the wiring around here even works at all.
Must be magic, I suppose.
No, that wasn't like a hint towards anything. Okay. Sweet. Okay, so there's that. We've got Countessa and Klops out of the way. That leaves Leah, which she must be in the smoking room because I don't feel like we've been there yet. Okay, so we're gonna leave it there. We're gonna do the smoking room next time and the king bedroom because that's. Okay, guys. So if you have anything to say, if you like it, give me a thumbs up. Sorry, dogs are going nuts on me again. Okay, so I gotta go take care of this. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you tomorrow. And sorry I missed yesterday. Homework really had to come first. It was such a big deal. But don't worry, I'll make it work. So I will see you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.
Alright, come on. Come on. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Oh god, how much is left? Okay. There's one. Okay, just gotta cut it right there. Oh, I hope I'll have enough to do this. Oh, come on. How much you got? Oh, you're at 50. I think you're doing real nice.